Yo, yo, yo. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy, Big Mike Raider. And guess who's back, man? We're in the business. We're here and we're here to stay, man. But before we get started, let's cue the music.
This is one of them hits now. Heard back from Earth, we just shot a few of my shits down. It's safe to say I'm totally pissed. Wow, my cloaking device is just malfunction. Guess it's time for a sit down. This is the problem I got with humans, mostly the common man. Constantly fucking with energy they don't understand. Always thinking they got the upper hand. The G-forces from my maneuvers can snap your spine like a rubber band. I shouldn't waste my time, they ain't half as nice. Put a Red Bull in your coffin so your ghost can have wings in the afterlife. That's why you roll like a belly dancer's rhinestone. It was my idea to shake the pineal gland like a pine cone. My thoughts create hurricanes, tornadoes, and cyclones. A punch for me is like an avalanche of granite and limestone. You live here, now this is my home. I neuralize both your retinas. You wake up staring at the screen of your iPhone. Confused by the light plus the high tone. And now we connected from the microchip I placed next to your thigh bone. It's hard to understand cause your mind blown, but I gotta cut communication. Your government just scramble they spy drones.
That voice speaking Sumerian, the oldest language in human history. I can't explain it.
Woo, I'm pumped up, man. I'm ready to go. Let's talk some ball, man. Let's talk some Raiders football. It's your boy, Big Mike Raider. And to the left or right of me, whichever way, we got Raider Ed from Raiders Primos right at the top screen, a.k.a. my little brother. People saying we looking alike with the clean shave. How you doing, bro? How's everything?
Man, doing fired up. I know we've been a little bit away from YouTube, been working a lot, but hey, draft is coming up, so we got to get back into that grind. We are going to have a show tomorrow, so stay tuned for that, and also hit that subscribe button at Raiders Primos. That's where you can find us on YouTube. Yeah, I'm ready to rock. I'm ready to talk some football, man.
That's right. That's right. And then to the bottom, right in the corner, right there, right diagonal from me, it's the severe one, Severe Raider Rookie of the Year. What's going on, bro? Good to see you again. It's been a while. Also, the president of the Justin Fields is no good fan club.
Yeah. Also, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I know what good. Yeah, you know what time it is. Jaden Daniels looking like.
Yep, got the same measurable, 6'4", 210. I don't know how your 40 is though, but
oh man, you know, I'm pushing 40, so my 40 ain't that good right now. So.
Yeah, I feel you. We just trying to stay upright these days. So and at the bottom of the screen, we got a legend of in his own right, NFL, one of the greats out here in the Raiders YouTube realm. How you doing, bro? Good to see you. It's been a while, man. How you doing?
Yeah, it's been a minute, man. Hope all is well on your end, man. Hey, I'm ready to talk football. I know everybody's excited about what the Raiders have done so far in free agency, man. Appreciate you for having me on. Yeah, man. Let's get into it, man. Hey, salute. Hey, what's going on, Raiders Primos? I think it's the first time we met, but you're always active in chat, man. So appreciate you coming through as well.
Oh, no problem, man. Salute.
Yep. Yeah, and we got. Hopefully, we have Cane Town Raider coming on.
Okay.
Shortly. I sent the link out to Protect the Shield. We got a full cast that I'm trying to build for tonight. We want to talk some Raiders football, but before we get started, let me acknowledge the chat. Guys, thanks for popping in. We got 85 in the building. Make sure you guys like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. Shout out to Martin from across the pond. 3 a.m. is a bit late for me, so I'll say it now. Salute everyone. Hey, you have a good night, man. Thanks for the support, staying up till 3 a.m. I don't know if you stayed up for me, man, but if you did, man, that's a lot of love right there, and I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the support as always. Let's see who else we got here. We got Gorel Webster. What's up, man? Good to see you. Raider Nation Drinking Club, Thor in the building. Raiders, man, good to see you, man. LV Maximus, the security of Mount Shillmore. There you go, man. Let's see. We got Christopher Raiders in the building. We got Van City Raider, the Canadian Destroyer in the building. What you gonna do, brother, when Minshew Mania runs all over you? He got that Hulk Hogan mustache. Yeah, man. And we're gonna get plenty of it this season. Let's see who we got. We got my guy, my big bro, Richard Taraoka. Like the thumb, hit the sub, share with your folks. We got Lecky. I'm not gonna butcher your name, man. Lecky in the building. My Big Mike, what's up with Uso? Salute to the chat, man. Salute to you. We got the legendary Sean Johnson in the building. Let's go. Welcome, Big Mike. Talk that Raiders real shit. Salute Primos. Salute and Raiders, severe Raider. He got the name kind of backwards there, but you know it, man. So, and shout out to everybody else, man. Huey P2905, Tony Capil. Let's see, NVD Money in the building. Thank you guys for the support, man. But let's get to brass tacks, guys. We got the first day of signing people. This is the first day of the league year, and more of an addition by subtraction today. We got rid of Hunter Renfro, Jimmy G, Tillery, and Hoyer. So let's start first off with Hunter Renfro. I want to give his respects to where it's due. You know, he did his thing for the years he was here. He kind of fell off a little bit under the Josh McDaniels realm. I do want to say that I do wish him the best for wherever he goes. That 13.5 or 7 million was a little bit too much for our blood for him to stay around. But I do hope he lands somewhere else and finds that third and Renfro magic that he had in previous years, man. Primos, do you have anything to add about Hunter Renfro? And do you have any good memories, bad memories, anything that you want to say about Hunter Renfro? We'll go around the horn with that one.
I think first, I want to agree with you, Big Mike. Just shout out to Hunter Renfro for what he brought to the Raiders. Hell of a player. I don't care what anybody says about him. That kid has heart. Like, through all the injuries, through all the issues he was dealing with, he still tried to go out there and, you know, play his best ball. It's not his fault that Josh McDaniels basically didn't include him in the offense. And when he did, it was set up to get killed. Like, that's what it felt like. One of the great memories I have was actually his rookie year out here in Oakland. I seen him play live against the Bengals. We needed a key third down pickup, and Carr just floated one, and Renfro, I don't know how he came down with the football. He made a diving catch, and that's when I fell in love with Thurman Renfro. That is when that nickname for me was born. That bad memory, these fumbles, bro. I think every single fumble, because those fumbles came at costly times. But I do wish him the best. I hope, you know, he can resurge his career somewhere else. I'm betting on the Saints. It just seems that him and Carr had that big connection. And, I mean, why go somewhere else when you can go to the Saints and work with a guy that you already have that connection with? So I'm hoping he can, you know, play at the top of his game. I think he still has a lot of left in the tank, but we'll see, because those concussion injuries are no joke, man. They're not. So who knows if he could come back from that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Severe, what you got, bro?
Yeah, man. You know, at a time when our team was in turmoil, we were lacking a true number one receiver. You know, Renfro basically came through and essentially saved the day with the year he had. He was rewarded handsomely for it, but unfortunately, you know, he couldn't come through these past few years, and eventually he kind of fell out of the good graces of not only Josh McDaniels, but of Antonio Pierce as well. So I think we were all hoping that, you know, his lack of production was just a byproduct of Josh McDaniels not knowing how to utilize him properly. But once we saw that same thing kind of happen with Antonio Pierce at the helm, we kind of knew the writing was on the wall, especially with that contract number. And the beginning of the end, as Primos alluded to, was that horrible fumble that cost us a game in Arizona. And I think from that point forward, man, like he was never the same. So wish him the best of luck, you know, wherever he goes. Maybe the Saints, if the Saints are smart, they would learn their lesson from taking former Raiders. They took on Carr. That hasn't worked well. They took on Brian Edwards. That hasn't worked well. They took on Lynn Bowden Jr. That hasn't really worked well. They took on Jonathan Abram. That has been a mixed bag as well. So if they want to go for the, you know, for the quintuplet or whatever, by all means. But no, I'm not sure if they will, man. But I'm hoping he lands somewhere where they can utilize his services.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Harold, what you got, bro?
Man, I couldn't say any better than the gentleman to the right of me and above me, man. Hey, look, like at the end of the day, man, Renfro, salute to him. Once a Raider, always a Raider. But I mean, the writing was on the wall. I mean, you know, in the NFL is what you've done for me lately. I mean, it's
Yeah.
you know, Renfro hasn't been productive in what, how many years? He hasn't been healthy. I just feel like he's a small receiver. He takes a lot of big hits. He fumbles. The writing is on the wall. He didn't have chemistry with the coaching staff. It just made sense for him to move forward. Could he have stayed? Could he have taken a pay cut? Possibly. But I think if he just goes to a different scenario where he goes into a building where he's familiar with, you know, we see it all the time happen in the NFL. A player leaves a team, he's going to go to a coaching staff where, you know, where they believe in him. There's a coach that knows him. You know what I mean? So I think with Renfro, it's just, you know, hey, good luck, but at the end of the day, man, like it didn't even fit. If you just look at the outside receivers that we have, Devontae Adams, Myers, they're not really speedy receivers. You know what I mean? That's why you could see why, you know, we they're gone now. But like McDaniels and Ziegler go after a Trey Tucker, who's a lot more speedier, pretty much his replacement. You know, because he fits better with those two receivers because he's a faster receiver. Renfro was kind of like the odd man out. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. He got paid handsomely. Ziegler wanted to go all in that year. It didn't work. And like Primo said, man, at the end of the day, like I think that possibly going to New Orleans with Derek Carr might be his best bet. Maybe Deshaun Watson, his college quarterback, maybe go back home to help out Bryce Young, because they looking like they're trying to get as much weapons around Bryce Young as possible, because that year one was a disaster. So he has some options. I could see him going to a lot of different places, but I think probably playing with Derek Carr might be the best bet because they had really good chemistry. But yeah, good luck to Hunter Renfro. But at the end of the day, like it was looking bad. It was looking ugly. It just didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. It was time. The time for Hunter Renfro, it expired. Things went sour the last couple of seasons. I don't know if it was because of Josh McDaniels or it was because of the concussions. Things just he lost that magic over the last couple of years, and I really do hope he does relocate that sense of magic somewhere else, as long as it's not in the AFC West. But shout out to Big Heck, shout out to Trill 2020. Shout out to Huey P2905. Space Beast is in the building. John B is in the building. Vince Cunningham in the building. Thank you guys for popping in. Let's talk about the next one, guys. Jimmy G. I didn't put him on my thumbnail for a reason. He was released, cut by the Raiders, pretty much almost a year to the day where he was signed. You guys have any quick thoughts about Jimmy G?
Oh, I got a quick thought, real quick.
Okay.
It's funny because I remember I got convinced by my father, by Nate, a couple other Raider fans that, oh, Jimmy G's a winner. We'll be all right. And then what's funny is that I posted, I think I posted a video that Jimmy G was our worst signing that year. I got like a reminder of posting that it was like a year later. And I was like, dang, so I was right. Screw all y'all. I'm not listening to y'all ever again, bro. Yeah. And it was the injuries. The injuries is what told me that if you're going to get a bridge guy, I like it. But Jimmy, like, I get the money-wise. We basically got a Derek Carr 2.0 sort of for less money, but it's like
worse.
Your plan B, yeah, it was worse. Your plan B, Josh McDaniels, was worse. And I'm just glad we got like a fresh start sort of with the quarterback position, whether that's Gardner Minshew taking 1 year and then a rookie sitting behind him. Because right now that quarterback, QB1 is really up in the air. Like, we really are thinking about it, because some of us think Minshew may start. Some of us hope Minshew doesn't start, doesn't even see the field. But we'll get into that, of course, conversation later. But with Jimmy G, I think his best bet's to retire. I don't think football is in his near future, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Severe, what you got, bro? Any good memories? Any lasting memories from Jimmy G?
Yeah, man. The only good memory was that first win against the Broncos, man. I think it was that fourth down play. Jimmy was rolling to his right. I think he dropped like one into Devontae Adams to convert on fourth down. And I saw that play. I was like, we might have something here. And then it was all down here from there. It was never that was the height of Jimmy Garoppolo in a Raiders uniform, man. He never did anything even close to that, man. I had hopes for Jimmy G. Just the fact, just he was a winner. A lot of pros, man. A lot of pros, guys like Kurt Warner, Dan Orlovsky. A lot of guys were singing his praises, saying that he didn't get enough credit. Had high hopes. I was hoping he can capture some magic, with Josh McDaniels, his familiarity with the system. But, as soon as we got word of that foot injury, the antennas went up. Where it's like, this could be a problem. And then, like I said, man, it's just, when you play in the NFL and you have injuries to your lower extremities, it is always going to be an issue, man. So I wish him the best of luck. If he wants to, I'm sure that there's a backup job for him somewhere out there. Holding the clipboard. Everybody always talked about his looks, so he can go somewhere on the sideline and just be featured in some B-roll somewhere, for his looks. But other than that, man, I don't see him ever really having much success in the NFL again.
Yeah, I agree. Shout out to Graf in the building, man. Thanks for popping in, OLV Raiders Network, man. Thanks for the support. Farrell, what you got, bro?
Man, I'm just gonna say, at the end of the day, like I was never a fan of Jimmy G signing. It's just like every Raider fan, like in any Raider move, we just grow to like it. We try to make sense of it. He was never healthy with the San Francisco. That San Francisco squad was super talented. I kind of seen it before it came. I'm like, you know what? This is not a guy that's gonna uplift his teammates. And I think that's what the Raider fans and the Raiders were looking for, a quarterback that's gonna uplift his teammates. And Jimmy G was never that guy. But we gave it a chance. It never worked out. He wasn't productive. We thought he was gonna be, a smooth sailing going into offense with Josh McDaniels. It looked like he was worse than AOC, a rookie who was learning the offense. It didn't even look like he was a guy that even knew, who was comfortable in that offense. And I think the best thing was finding out, hey, I'll be honest with you, finding out that he got suspended for the NFL because that means we're off the hook. We Raiders are off the hook from that contract, and we can make more moves. So to me, that was the best thing about the whole Jimmy G situation. I'm gonna keep it real.
Man, you know what? You're right. That was the best thing that Jimmy G did bring to the table. The second best thing that I will say Jimmy G did bring to the table was the fact that he played a good sport and was a good second string guy and helped out Aiden O'Connell when he needed it. I'll give him that. He was a team guy when it was time for him to be a team guy. Unlike a previous number 4 we did have, where he kind of took his bag and walked. And I commend him for that. I commend Jimmy G for that. And for that, I will wish him the best of luck. I will admit this, man. I was very optimistic about Jimmy G. I have a short. I think Severe was on that show. I think it was me, Severe. No, I think it was Cane Town. It was Cane Town, me and Cane Town, and I was talking about how Jimmy G, his $22.5 million, I think, per year contract or whatever the numbers added up at some point. I said pound for pound, that was going to be the best contract in the NFL because he was a winner. And boy, was I wrong. I was very wrong. I admit that. I'm eating crow to this day, and there's an unlimited supply of crow that I'm eating because of that. So, yeah, I had some optimism. It was a bit of optimism. I put my goggles on, my Raiders goggles on for it, and it didn't work out. His best game was actually his first game when he was with the Broncos. He drove us down the field and made it happen. Defense finished the game. We won 17-16. That was the best we saw from Jimmy G this whole season. And from there, he became Jimmy G. So wish him the best of luck. But that is that. Shout out to the 207 in the building, guys. Make sure you all like the thumb, hit the sub and share with your folks. If this is your first time here, man, hopefully this isn't your last. Make sure you share with your folks. We're on the road to 3K before the season starts. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Thanks, Farrell, for the A1 quality visuals right there, man. Definitely got to step my game up for that one.
Hey, was that for me or was that that was for me?
Well, I don't know where that you didn't
I thought that was you.
up?
Hold on. Let me. All I did was this. Hold on. Damn, that was random.
Yo, that's
wow.
crazy.
What the hell?
Okay, all right, I get it.
I got thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Hey, y'all get it now. Y'all know what that looked like. They just hit the thumbs up button. Y'all can see it on the screen.
Man.
I just
Shout out to Crypto Tales, my bro in the building, man. Thanks for popping in, bro. And we got a $2 haymaker from Christopher Raiders. Shout out Raider fan. Thanks for the support, man. Thanks for the love as always. We got Myra G in the building. Bay Area Raiders fans new first. Jimmy was basura. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. He was I was in denial. I was kind of hoping that would work out, but it didn't.
Man.
But
I was on the same boat with you, man. I was on the same boat.
I think we all were,
bro.
But you know what? Let's move on from Jimmy G. Let's talk about some guys that we let walk. We let some guys walk. One particular is Josh Jacobs. He got paid. He got paid. The Green Bay Packers gave him a 4-year deal, $48 million, something like that. I know that there's some clauses in there. Was really a 1-year deal. He kind of got played. Josh Jacobs had some kind of not great parting words for the Raiders, talking about loyalty and how teams aren't very loyal to the players, and they talk about how players aren't loyal to the team. He has some things to say. I want to start with Severe, man. What do you think about Josh Jacobs' comments, and what do you think about him getting that contract with the Packers and him departing? All of it, let me know, man.
Oh, you came to the right place, Mike. You came to the right place, brother.
I already know. That's why I picked you first, bro.
My very first ever appearance on YouTube it was with Mike, and we were discussing Josh Jacobs. I think I was on with Primos. I think we had Protect the Shield on here as well. I think Kingtown was on there too. And I said then with great confidence.
You did.
That Josh Jacobs wasn't that guy, man. I said he wasn't that guy. And I said then that if he holds out and Zamir White gets a chance, he is going to cripple his value. And that's basically what he did. We look at his contract, right? And it's that we look at that big number in the first year. I think it's like 14.8 in the first year. And then it's like 3 years of team options. Look at what the running back franchise and remember, Josh Jacobs was mad about being franchised by the Raiders last year. He did not. He won a long-term deal. He was upset that he got franchised. That's why he held out. What is the running back value on the franchise tag this year? $14.8 million. How much is Josh Jacobs guaranteed this year? $14.8 million. And then he has 3 team options after that. So essentially, Josh Jacobs signed with the Green Bay Packers on the franchise tag because only 1 year is guaranteed, and they can cut him each and every year. But I will say Green Bay was smart for this because the only time Josh Jacobs really produced was in a contract year. So now every single year of his contract, it's a contract year because after this first year, they can cut him and not be hurt at all for each of these years. So I'm just ready to move forward with Josh Jacobs, man. Like he said the last regime wasn't loyal to him because they didn't give him a deal. They came with 3 separate contract offers. He turned down all of them. This regime, tried to work up until the very end to get him here on a long-term deal. He turned that down, and he keeps screaming about loyalty. He said he would take less money to, in the past, he said it would take less money because it wasn't about the money. And then when AP got hired, he said he would take less money to pay for AP. But obviously that was not the case, man. So, I respected him for what he did while he was here. People gonna talk about that Raiders tax. I know several women who have tattoos of men that they're no longer with. So I don't care about that tattoo at all. That tattoo don't mean a damn thing. Boy, you better get that cover up. You better get that cover up, homie. So, hey, I wish him the best luck up there with Green Bay, but, it's on to the next one down here.
Man, I couldn't have said it any better, man. Before we get started, I'm gonna pass it to Primos. Before I get started, man, let me shout out to the guys who, came before us and has been Raiders for years and years and years. Shout out to Funky Raider 31. He says, "What's up, Kings? First time watching. Been a member of Raider Nation since '72, and I don't overstand the crying about our quarterbacks because I remember the Rusty Hilger and Todd Marinovich days." Shout out to you, man. We got to honor the OGs in here, man. Thanks for the support, man. Primos, any lasting memories, any comments about Josh Jacobs and what he said, where he's going, his contract situation? Go ahead, man. Floor is yours, bro.
Man, Josh Jacobs about to get this DC treatment because me and Severe were on that same tree. I remember we were on that same tree that everyone's like, "Oh, pay Josh Jacobs, pay Josh Jacobs." I'm like, if this kid don't want to play ball with us, let him walk. Go draft a running back. Go pick up a different running back or sign to the franchise tag. Let him prove it, because why, statistically speaking, running backs that lead the league in rushing the year prior, they have a big drop off the following year. And you know what's funny? They get injured the following year. And I said, if he holds out, because Graf pointed it out, that he's going to come into camp in shape, but not football shape. And me and Samir agreed that he's going to get injured. Samir's going to come in, and Zamir's going to take his job. And what happened? Raiders didn't want to play ball with you. Why? Because they remember what Zamir did while you was injured. They remember that Zamir ran the ball down Kansas City's throats, ran the ball down Denver's throats, ran the ball down basically every team that he went against. He ran it down their throats. And everyone in the nation that's saying, "Oh, do we really trust Zamir as running back one?" Did you guys watch the last 9 games that he started in? Like, I questioned, did you watch how Zamir performed? And do you guys see what Zamir's doing in the offseason? It's not training camp yet or OTAs, and this guy's getting in football shape. That is what Josh Jacobs did not bring to the table. He was not in football shape. Whereas Zamir, pair him with another running back, which I think they should draft a running back, pair him with another running back. This can be a killer 1-2 combo. But Josh Jacobs got his bag, and he want to talk about loyalty. Well, you chose the bag over the shield, and no one's above the shield. So best of luck to you in Green Bay. And like Severe said, Green Bay played it smart with that contract, because they're probably going to get the best out of him, only because it's essentially contract year every single year. So hope for the best, but I'm not going to be crying over Josh Jacobs not being here. Like that subliminal IG stuff. You can ask my Primo Nate on Raiders Primos. We're saying, I'm tired of it. You either want to be here or you don't. It's either just stop being subliminal. Tell Raider Nation, tell AP, hey, I don't care, AP, that you got hired. I don't want to be here.
Man,
like, just be truthful with it.
Man, you guys are bringing the heat, man. Shout out to Raider Tone. He says, Big Mike Raider, what's up? What's up, bro? I haven't had time to be on your stream. What it do? Who we drafting? So we'll talk about that shortly. It kind of ties into the Josh Jacobs thing, but I'm gonna pass it to Pharaoh. Any kind of words, anything else? Do you have any heat on Josh Jacobs? How you feeling about this whole thing, bro?
I mean, I'm not really too emotional about it, to be honest with you. It's just business at the end of the day. It's just that running back position is devalued. As much as we love Josh as a player, you know what I mean? You can tell the locker room loves him. He's a good dude. He's been productive too. If you think about it, when's the last time we've had a running back that's consistently got 1,000 yards? You might say, well, it's easy to do that in today's league, but the Raiders haven't had that in a while. I mean, 4 out of his 6 years, he's gone over 1,000 yards. That must mean something. As far as the contract negotiation, at the end of the day, like we know Josh says some stuff over social media, but we don't know where the Raiders stand. And finally, now we know where they stand. They want to move on, because at the end of the day, we all know that running back position is devalued. So they're going to try to go a different route. They're going to go cheaper. It's a new regime. And as far as that 1 year, that contract, actually, Green Bay doesn't really give any guarantee money outside of the first year. So that's kind of like the way they do business in Green Bay. That's what they do. And first year, $14.8 million. That's not too bad, I would say. And he was injured this year. There was a drop off in play. there's a lot of different factors. Oh, you could look at the O-line. You could look at, you know, a lot of different factors. I understand Zamir comes in, but I would be lying to you and tell you that, oh, I'm 100% confident in Zamir White starting week 1. No. I want to have some talent. I want to get maybe possibly a veteran in free agency or another running back in the draft, and then I'll feel a little bit better. I'm not saying I don't like Zamir. I'm not 100% confident in Zamir as I am in Josh Jacobs, because we know what he's made of. We know how productive he can be. He can carry the rock, so to speak. So at the end of the day, it's just business. The Raiders made a good move on their end, and hey, at the end of the day, like, there's other moves that we could talk about. We're going to get into, but I'm not really tripping off Josh Jacobs. Hey, good luck. You know, he's still a good player. It's just business in my eyes. I'm not really mad, or I don't take it either way, in my opinion.
Yeah, you made a good point about Zamir White. I'm not really 100% like sold on him being a running back 1 either.
Right.
It seems to me that we're going to be going more towards a running back by committee. And in saying that, guys, real quick, I think that we're going to hit this draft real quick. Running back on the top of your head, who we're going to be picking up. I'm going to tell you my favorite right now is Marshawn Lloyd. That's who I want to pick. Guy out of USC, kind of a homer with that one. Severe already knows how I feel about that. But Marshawn Lloyd seems to be somebody that would fit in perfectly with Zamir White. And we can do a 1-2 punch, maybe even a 3 with Amir Abdullah also returning as well. So, Severe, who you got as a running back out of the draft, or are you hitting the draft for another running back?
It kind of depends on how this offseason shakes out and what they feel about Britton Brown. I know, people have been singing the praises of Sincere McCormick for as long as I can remember. I ain't seen this dude play. Like, I ain't never seen a player have so many fans that ain't never played. Like
shout out to Grab.
Hey, yo, Grab, on the phone right now,
like,
bro.
Like, I ain't never seen this dude like run at all. So, but he could be a guy we've been stashing. I like guy Dylan Lobby. He's he's a change of pace back, but Frank Gore Jr. is another guy that I would like to see us take a chance on as well. There's some good bloodlines right there, and I think he's a guy that would slot nicely into a committee.
Yeah, man. Hey, Protect the Shield, pull up if you can, bro. Hey, Primos, what you got? Who would you bring in as far as running back goes, bro?
Sean Johnson put me on game about Blake Corum out of Michigan, and the only knock I have on Blake Corum though is his size. He's 5'9", but he's almost
like 5'7", bro.
Yeah. He's like, I feel like I'm his height. I'm 5'5". Like, I'm like, man, this boy is short. Like, that's the only knock I have on him. I'm like, can he take it to the next level? Maybe, but the way I'm looking at our draft specifically, I'm like, running back, I'm looking like maybe 3rd, 4th round. Would Blake Corum fall that far? Who knows? In the couple mocks I've done, he's fell that far. I like him, but there's also Grass says Ray Davis. I got to do more homework on him, but just the little things that I read about him, I would not mind taking a Ray Davis, because to Farrell's point, I know I talked about not Sincere McCormick, but Zamir White. I agree. It's like I have, like, I would say 70% confident in Zamir White, but running back by committee. Like I said, even with Josh Jacobs, Raiders did no service to Josh Jacobs by basically having him being the bell cow. Like, in today's NFL, you need at least 2 to 3 running backs, all getting the ball during the game, and that's why I believe you give Zamir White and Ray Davis as your backfield, as your 1-2 punch, or even a Zamir White and a Blake Corum. I'm cool with that, because at the end of the day, Raiders need to be running back by committee. I don't want to see Zamir getting 30 touches a game, like 25 carries, 5 receptions. Like, if he cannot have a Josh Jacobs type year in 2022, where Josh Jacobs had near 400 touches in the entire season. I do not want to see Zamir getting 400 touches in the season.
Farrell, what you got, bro?
Someone in the chat said it. I've heard Ray Davis. I seen a little bit of him. He's shifty. I like him. In my opinion, where we have a lot of different needs. I think running back is semi one of our needs, but not as high as other positions. But at the end of the day, like, when you want to draft that position, you want to go later in the, I say, like 4th, 5th round, 6th round, around that I would say that'll probably be the sweet spot. But for me, and someone in the chat actually mentioned it, Isaac Guerendo, not a huge name, but he killed it in the combine. The dude tied Darren McFadden's he ran a 4.33, was tied top 5, I think number 5 with Darren McFadden. 40-inch vertical, 1.5 10-yard split. Like, he just combine freak. Now, does that necessarily mean that you're going to be a great running back? No, but it shows how explosive, great athlete he is. And he wasn't really productive in college, but and I think he was a transfer from Wisconsin to Wisconsin, or no, I think he's from Wisconsin. But I think that could be a target maybe in the later rounds that we can get, because I'm looking at it from this perspective. We're going to be targeting other positions. We can't think to get like the best running back available, because that's not a huge need. You guys mentioned Zamir White, so I'm going to look at guys where, you know what, they're not going to be highly sought out, not big names, but still a diamond in the rough type running back. Obviously, there's going to be better running backs, but let's be realistic. We have other positions of needs, like offensive guard, corner, O-line. We're talking about trading all these picks. Let's keep it real. So let's be honest. And it's possible we don't even draft a running back this year. We might even sign a veteran running back, and there might be 1 or 2 left. So there's a lot of different routes they can go. But Isaac Guerendo, combine freak. I don't know. I like the dudes that's the most athletic. The combine is, it is what it is, man. I like the guys that run the fastest, but for running back, it really doesn't matter. But that's the guy that you guys keep an eye on.
I mean, that's a good point. Guerendo, I don't know what his draft stock looks like, but I'm sure you can get him in the later rounds, which is like our sweet spot. That's kind of where we want to pick and get high value in those later rounds. Now, in those mid rounds, those second and third rounds, shout out to LV Maximus. We want to get the thick frames in there. We want to get the guards. We want to get maybe a tackle. I like in the first round, if we don't trade up, I like JC Latham to come from Alabama. I like Fuaga from Oregon State. Those are the guys that I'm kind of looking at bolster that offensive line. And a good offensive line makes any running back look good. And for the case for Guerendo, he doesn't have much tread on his tires, and that's really what you're looking for a running back these days. Now, you'll see a running back get about 40 touches a game, and he runs out of gas when he gets to the league. A lot of these former Wisconsin running backs, or any running back from the Big Ten, like one that pops out is Ibrahim.
Ron Dane?
Ron, I'm talking about more. Ron Dane is one of them, but more recently is Muhammad Ibrahim from Minnesota. He was last year. He was undrafted free agent. He was, to me, one of the better running backs coming out last year, but Minnesota ran him to the ground so much that when it came for him to come to the league, teams were already kind of passing up on him. You know what I mean? Because the tread was not there, to me, in my opinion. And I think these experts see that these guys that are getting all these carries in college, they run out of gas too fast once they get to the league. And I think that's what they're looking for these days, is some guys that still got that speed and still have some tread on the tire. So maybe that is a guy that we need to be looking for.
You just described Josh Jacobs coming out. He didn't have a lot of carries coming out, and you see how productive he was for the Raiders. And Isaac Guerendo, who he reminds me of a little bit? He has all that explosive ability, but you don't really see it when you watch him play. Like, he doesn't hit that. He doesn't have that burst that you want to see. He kind of reminds me of Latavius Murray. When you look at his numbers, like, really super athletic, could run. He ran a 4.3. If people forget, Latavius Murray ran a 4.3 coming out the draft. We drafted him in the 6th round. Hey, look where I'm going with this. Isaac Guerendo could be that guy, real productive running back. I think Murray's still playing in the league. Last time I checked, at least last season he was playing. Yeah. So, there's longevity for you. But, like I said, we can go a lot of different routes with it, but I agree 100%.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So another guy that we let go, we let him walk, is Jermain Eluemunor. Jermain Eluemunor signed with the Giants, 2 years, $14 million. Good deal for him. He seemed to be really excited to play for the Giants. I don't like the fact that he's that damn excited to be playing for the Giants. I didn't see that enthusiasm when he was with the Raiders. But be that as it may, what do you guys think? You guys have any lasting impressions with Jermain Eluemunor? We'll start with Primos. I like his face right now. I want to hear what he's got to say about this one, man.
Man, but I'm not gonna miss the penalties and the drive killers that he's gonna be causing us. Yeah. But outside of that, I mean, people need to get him his flowers. I mean, outside of the penalties, he played really solid for us. I like what I seen out of him. I thought this season we were gonna keep him. I thought we were probably gonna try him at guard and see what we can do at the right tackle position. So I mean, that's another hole we have to fill at the right guard position, the right tackle. Like I said, I thought he was going to be that right guard filling, but I wish him the best. I'm glad he got his bag. And it makes sense that he went to the Giants, with Carmen Brasillo out there in New York. So it made sense. So, he's definitely going to be utilized on that offensive line. Wish him the best, but yeah, I'm gonna not miss the false starts in the red zone, as Chris pointed out in the chat. I'm just glad I'm not gonna be seeing that anymore in the red zone.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Severe, what you got, bro?
Yeah, man. Props to Eluemunor. I appreciate what he came over here and did, man. He was a guy who was like a jack of all trades, man. He played. I think he played just about everywhere but center for us. Filled in, when we had some tough spots, man. His versatility was valuable. He played pretty well at right tackle, man. I thought we were going to bring him back, especially seeing what some of these offensive linemen are getting out there and seeing what he signed for, man. I thought that was the deal that, we would have been willing to offer him. Apparently, he really wanted to go over there, reunite with Brasillo. So, I can't fault him for that. Looking forward to seeing, hopefully, Munford has developed on the right side, or, we redshirted Wagner. We can see what he does over there, or if we want to go the route that Big Mike was speaking about earlier, Latham and Fuaga are there, possibly for Shanu, but
Shanu, yeah.
I'd preferably not have to go right tackle in the first round. That's why I was hoping we can retain him, but maybe this could be like a Jared Cook situation. If people remember, we had Jared Cook over here. And, he had a very productive year. I think he went over 1,000 yards, if I recall correctly. And then we kind of let him walk. And people were like, man, why'd you let him go? Like, that was, he was one of your best offensive players that year. And then the very next year is when kind of Darren Waller burst onto the scene. So, maybe the coaches have seen something in Munford or seen something in Wagner that makes them feel a little bit better about letting Eluemunor walk. But appreciate what he did for us, man.
Yep. Fair, what you got, bro?
Yeah, I mean, Munford, he was pretty solid. I could, I mean, he was solid. I didn't like the pre-snap penalties. They just never really went away like that. A little bit sensitive. I don't know if anybody followed him on social media.
Yeah.
Like he would be on it. Like, but at the end of the day, like, hey, he was a Raider. He played well for us. He was versatile, like you guys said. I think it might be a sign that he might not be a fit with the new regime, and obviously he went to the Giants, and he went to his former O-line coach, and for what I'm hearing, the Raiders are going to be running a zone blocking system, and a guy like Eluemunor is kind of an odd man out because he's not really that athletic. Like, he's kind of a big guy. I don't know if he would fit that type of system. So whoever we get at right tackle, I think they probably want someone a little bit more maybe athletic at that spot, possibly. But we'll see, man, because the Raiders got to make a move, man. If they're going to be trading up to get whoever, they got to figure it out in free agency. But we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, man. So salute to Eluemunor, but he was replaceable. He's replaceable.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He was one of my favorite Raiders as far as social media presence, because he would speak his mind. I did like that, but he did get a little bit sensitive.
Yeah.
But he was very reachable as far as, like, you can say something to him, he'll respond back. I do appreciate that from him being just a human being, and not bigger than, taking his name that he thinks he's too bigger than the game, or bigger than, speaking to everyday people. Mm-hmm. So I do respect him for that one, but he's a Giant now, and you're absolutely right. He is replaceable. Next guy, Amik Robertson. Signed with the Lions. I think it was a 2-year, $9 million deal. I think it goes up to about a little bit over $10 million in his contract. Amik got paid for what he's doing, what he brings, what kind of services he brings. And I think the Lions were kind of eyeing him on what he brings to the table, brings some depth to that secondary for the Lions, and I think it's a good fit for him. Real quick, what do you guys think about Amik Robertson? Severe, man. What you got, bro?
Yeah, man, I appreciate Amik, man. Amik was honestly the year that Amik was drafted. Amik was one of the guys identified as kind of a late round sleeper. Ironically, him and Lynn Bowden. Unfortunately, I didn't know they'd move Lynn Bowden and running back, but that's a story for another day. Right. But yeah, man, like just his attitude, man. He, dude was a dog on the field. Inconsistent, but he'd give up a big play, but he'd get out there and fight for you, and he'd make a big play. He's not a guy that you ideally want as your permanent starter on the outside. I would have loved to have him back as a depth piece. He filled in admirably last year, but I'm glad to see him go to Detroit, a team that's on the rise, that is on the doorstep and possibly winning a Super Bowl. Wish him much success up there. It will be fun to see some battles in practice between him and Amon-Ra St. Brown, man. That is going to be some good stuff right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Farrell, what you got, bro?
Man, I like Amik, but he's not someone that you want to start on the other side. He's just too small. Like a good team will easily attack him just off his height. But he had a lot of heart. He played well at times, but he also gave up some plays as well. And to be honest, he's a fourth corner. You know what I mean? Like in a good secondary or solid secondary, you can probably project him to be that fourth corner. Maybe the slot possibly, but we already have that filled with Nate Hobbs. So it was just a situation where Lions came in. They paid probably a little bit more money than what the Raiders wanted to pay. And hey, man, good luck to Amik, man. Once a Raider, always a Raider, man. But I think it's just a matter of just like Eluemunor, another guy that can be replaced. I would say with Eluemunor, that was kind of harsh, just because the market is kind of shaky when it comes to tackle. And I agree with Severe when he said earlier, like, tackles are hard to come by, especially in this offseason where we're hearing rumors about teams trying to trade, hearing the Raiders trying to trade up. Like, you want to get as much good players as you want, but for Amik, definitely a guy that we can find somebody else. We can find someone in draft. We just drafted a rookie corner last year, so you know what I mean. So at the end of the day, it's just a matter of just opportunity that they want to go younger and cheaper at that position. Yeah, Amik was good for depth for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, what he got paid, that's a little too much for me for a depth guy for sure. So
yeah, for sure.
Primos, what you got, bro?
Hey, Amik earned his bag and he got it from the Lions. And like Severe said, I hope we see a lot of practice videos between him and Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's going to be a battle on the practice field. But yeah, I gotta agree with Farrell. Cornerback 4, like, he was corner 4 all season for me. I mean, I know we played him on the outside, but when it comes to playoff times, you can only have boom or bust plays for so long before they start trying to catch up to you. Like, we have to I get it. Some Raider fans like to fall in love with these players, but let's keep in mind where we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to a Super Bowl, and 50-50 players ain't gonna win you a Super Bowl. Because you could be up 4 points in the Super Bowl and then boom, your corner gives up a 75-yard touchdown and momentum just swung the other way. Like, you cannot have that happening. So he was a corner 4 for me. And I was always eyeing corners during free agency, during the draft, to find his replacement, whether he was going to stay on the team or he was leaving. Either way, I believe we needed a new corner 1 or a strong corner 2 to pair up with Jack Jones.
Hey, man, don't be bad mouth at 50-50, man. Don't use that as no bad word out here, man.
Man,
you know.
Man, shout out to Sean Johnson. He says we get a 2025 third-round comp pick for Josh Jacobs, 6th-round comp pick for Jermain Eluemunor, and a 7th-round comp pick for Amik Robertson. Is that for sure? Can you guys confirm that, or if so, man, I like it. I love it. Actually,
Sean, shout out to Sean Schefter Johnson, man. He always is on it, but I haven't seen anything as far as confirming the compensation. We have lost a few free agents, so and they do like a formula based off like playing time and if they had postseason play. It's just at the end we won't know until next year. Be honest with you.
I just hope they don't pull Aaron Rodgers, and just give us 20 seconds of game time.
Hey, what's the comp pick for if Aaron Rodgers wins vice president? I want to see the comp pick for that. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, if we get a 3rd round pick for Josh Jacobs, that's gonna be hilarious because we're gonna get more for Josh Jacobs than what Chicago's gonna get for Justin Fields.
Damn.
Man. Here we go.
Damn.
Boom.
Hey, shout out to Psycho. I think according to Sean Johnson, it's a 2025 pick next year. I don't think it's this year, but
Ralph's saying this year. This year we get no confidence.
But next year, keep an eye out for that one. I'm not too sure, but according to the legendary Sean Johnson, we're looking at a comp 3rd, 6th, and 7th next year. So stay tuned for that one. I think if that's the case, those are smart moves, letting those guys walk. We're getting better through the draft. Seems like that's the plan. Getting younger and better through the draft seems to be the strategy, and I'm cool with it. Shout out to the 330 in the building, man. That is crazy. I think that's a new Big Mike record. Guys, I'm amazed by the love you guys been showing me. I've been gone for about a month dealing with some stuff, and I appreciate you guys coming in, man. But if this is your first time, make sure you guys like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. Let's welcome our new Raiders, Christian Wilkins and Gardner Minshew. Christian Wilkins, most importantly. Gardner Minshew, okay, cool. But Christian Wilkins, our D tackle, our star D tackle, playing right next to Max Crosby. How nasty is this defense from 10 being like, yeah, this is going to be a nasty defense to this is going to be a red hot defense in between there? What do you guys think about this year's defense coming up? And just let me know, man. Primos, what you got, bro?
If we're going based off like right now, I'm at I want to say 7 or 8. It could be a 10, but I got to see what free agency, how we finish free agency, how we finish in the draft. But adding Christian Wilkins to this defensive line is going to change. Not only, I know people want to say Max Crosby, Malcolm Coops. Guys, Tyree Wilson can really just take this next step with Christian Wilkins right next to him. Because as an offensive line, we got to highlight Max Crosby, Malcolm Koonce, and Christian Wilkins. And then you got Big Mammoth, Tyree Wilson, with that big old wingspan. He's going to get a lot of one-on-ones. And it's going to be up to Tyree Wilson. Can he win those one-on-ones? And that is where we're going to see, is Tyree Wilson worth the pick that we picked him at? He looked like he was picking it up. I was barking for it to move Tyree Wilson to the inside. The thing is, we love what Christian Wilkins can bring to the table, but we've always said Max Crosby needs help. He got it with Malcolm Koonce last year. And then we seen that, man, all we need is that interior pressure. We can get that interior pressure. This defensive line can be something to watch in the near future. So I'm just excited. I would say the pressure he's going to take off of Max and Koonce on the outside. Max is going to have a lot more of free up. I believe he's still going to deal with double teams here and there, but not as much now that Christian Wilkins is in men in the middle. This defensive line, I expect us to get after the quarterback, and I wouldn't be shocked if we draft a defensive tackle. I know a lot of us want to go offensive tackle, but AP's a defensive guy, and he talked about the Mahomes rule. And I've said it, we try to build an offense to outscore KC. Yep. I love that we're not trying to outscore KC. We're trying to beat them down now. Like, that's where AP's mentality is going, that we're not going to outscore Kansas City. We're going to beat them down. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to do that with the defensive line.
Love it. Love it. And shout out to Space Beast with the $2 haymaker. Just Wilkins, baby. I love it, man. I love it, man. He changes the complexion of this defense. Farrell, what you got, man? What are your thoughts on Christian Wilkins? You got any thoughts on Gardner Minshew or both? Let me know, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, Christian Wilkins, man. I like Primos. I couldn't say any better than him. But look, when's the last time we've had a D tackle? I mean, it feels like for a minute now we've is this the year we get a D tackle? Is this the year that we draft? Like, I mean, last year we had a chance of getting Jalen Carter, and when we passed and obviously got, Wilson, we're hoping for the best for him. Hopefully he has a good career. But everybody was just at early returns with Jalen Carter with the Eagles. We're like, oh my God, we just missed out on one of the best players at that position, young players with Jalen Carter. But now, fast forward, we finally get our D tackle. He top 5 D tackle in the league. Man, the dude had 61 pressures last year, including 18 double team pressures, which is like 5th amongst D tackles. The dude played 850 snaps, one of 2 players, and guess who's the other guy? You already know, Max Crosby. You know what I'm saying? So this guy loves to play. Has a motor. It pairs up nicely with Max Crosby. Like Primos was saying, it's going to open it up for the guys on the outside. Quarterbacks are going to think twice by stepping up in the pocket. That's the worst type of pressure for a quarterback, is that interior pressure. And we haven't had that in a while. Now you got quarterbacks trying to get away from that interior pressure. You're going to tell me they're going to run into pretty much run into Max Crosby for a sack? Come on, man. At the end of the day, bro, look, we just, once, if we can solidify that corner position, maybe grab a vet somehow, some way, maybe grab another corner or 2, we can start talking. Well, it's early. I don't like talking before the season starts, but man, when's the last time the Raiders had a defense, man? And we seen it kind of. We had a sneak preview with late in the season last year, but now going into next season with this defense and hopefully improve run game and a young quarterback possibly. But Gardner Minshew, just pivot real quick. You know what? A solid backup. Can start for you in a pinch. I don't want him to be the Raiders starter. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want him to go into the season as Raiders starter, but I understand what the Raiders are doing. They're just trying to make sure they give him a little bit more flexibility in the draft, just in case they can't trade up and get their guy. Like now they have a guy that they signed. I thought it was going to be Russell Wilson. Shout out to you, Big Mike. You kind of like early on, we talked about, Russell Wilson being that guy, but
we were close.
We were close, but guess what? From reports, what they're saying is that like the Raiders weren't interested at all. Like Russell Wilson was true. Russell Wilson was, but Raiders weren't interested at all. Like, which I'm not mad at. Good. Like they looked at Russell Wilson as a guy that didn't fit the locker room. Good. I'm good with that. I was just saying like, hey, let's consider it. It's $1.2 million. Let's if Russell Wilson looks at the head coach or a player wrong, you're cut. You're gone. I just looked at it as a win-win for the Raiders. But at the end of the day, we got Gardner Minshew. At first, I almost had a heart attack with that contract. Then I was thinking about it. Okay, that's kind of like high-end backup, low-end starter. Makes sense. You know what I mean? If we draft a QB, maybe he's not ready. He starts a little bit. Look what he did for the Colts with Anthony Richardson. You know what I mean? So I get it 100%. But I like the move so far, man. But we're not done yet.
Yeah. Severe, what you got, bro?
Yeah, man. I think this defense should be good next year. I'm at about a 7 right now, too, depending on what we do at corner, because I was not impressed with Ja'Cory Bennett at all. So, depending on what we do on the other side of Jack Jones, can kind of make or break this or not make or break this defense, but can take this defense from being like an above average unit to a truly elite unit. Really excited to see Christian Wilkins on the defensive line. The kind of games, the defensive line games they'll be able to run with him and Max, or him and Tyree, or him and Kuntz, just all those guys, their athleticism. It's going to be crazy. Hoping we bring back Adam Butler, who's a guy was still fairly young and was productive on the inside and acted as a mentor for Tyree. So, man, this defensive line can be special, man. This defensive line can be special, especially if Kuntz can keep up that same level of production that we saw over those last 9 weeks, where he was basically just about as good or just about as productive as Max Crosby. I wouldn't say he was as good, but he was as productive as Max Crosby over those last 9 weeks. And if Tyree can continue making these strides, have a full offseason where he's healthy, fully recovered, and really, instead of just focusing on rehabbing, he can focus on getting better, which is what he needed. He's a guy that needed a lot of seasoning. He was very raw. So if he can make some strides, man, I think our defensive line can be special. In terms of Gardner Minshew, man, people keep saying Gardner Minshew is not it, or they keep hating on Gardner Minshew, and they say, hey, AOC should be the guy. I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie Coming to America where they're talking about Joe Louis, and then the one guy brings up Rocky Marciano. They're like, Rocky Marciano, that's good. He's like, well, he whipped Joe Louis's ass. Like, Gardner Minshew went out there and he whipped AOC's ass. I don't talk about who was better and who wasn't, because they went head to head, and Gardner Minshew won that game. Gardner Minshew exactly. Gardner Minshew went into Oco Stadium with Derek Carr, and he whipped Derek Carr's ass too. So he's a guy that,
that memory back, bro. I was at that game.
So people was like, people were mad that we signed Gardner Minshew. Was like, oh, AOC should be starting. Okay, well, he has an opportunity to go into camp and win that job. And ironically, AOC is closer in age to Gardner Minshew than AOC is in age to Jaden Daniels. So don't be talking like AOC is some young guy out here. We just brought in a veteran over here. AOC is going to be 26 years old when the season starts. Gardner Minshew is going to be 28. So they're very close in age. And Gardner Minshew has proven that he can step into a situation where there is a young rookie quarterback phenom that's going to start the year. And if that guy, for whatever reason, doesn't pan out or gets hurt, he can put your team in contention to go to the playoffs and be right there on the threshold of the playoff and take, a Herculean effort from the best rookie quarterback of all time to keep you out of the playoffs.
Yeah, you know what? Regarding Gardner Minshew, initially when I saw the contract, I was like, what are we doing, bro?
Yeah.
I was like, what are we doing? Gardner Minshew to me seems like the option you make when you have no other option. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like it was similar to the Colts, right? Good quarterback, solid quarterback, good serviceable quarterback, but is nobody's favorite guy. You know what I mean? He's not anybody's ever first choice.
Yeah.
Now, is he the guy that's going to be the starter? I would hope not. But on the other side, I didn't want AOC to start either. I didn't think that AOC was one of those guys that, okay, I wanted him to compete for the starting job, but I didn't expect him to win the starting job. Does that make any sense to you guys? I thought that he would compete and then sit down as quarterback too. Now, if we draft a guy, and I'll ask you guys what you guys think about what kind of route we're going to go with that one. But if we draft a guy, we're looking at a possibility of O'Connell being QB3. And I think that that's not fair to him either.
Yeah.
So that's what it seems to me, that the whole thing didn't make sense to me. The whole thing is I'm still trying to wrap my mind around why we did this, because I really thought that at the worst, AOC was a quarterback too. But that's kind of where I'm at right there with it.
I think, Farrell answered it perfectly. To piggyback off him, I think it's to give us an out. If we can't trade up, because I'm hoping we get into that conversation, because we're like, oh, we're gonna trade up. We're gonna trade up. Who says we're gonna trade up? The Patriots and Commanders and the Bears have the say. We don't have the say.
Right.
Because we could be like, hey, we'll give you this, and the Commanders will be like, no, we want Caleb. We're gonna stay right here. Bears gonna probably be like, hey, we want Caleb. And then Patriots probably be like, hey, we want Jaden. Sorry, Raiders, you're not getting him. We want him. And so I agree with you on that, Big Mike, because I was there too. I'm like, we do draft a quarterback, which I do believe we're gonna get, whether that's Jaden Daniels, Spencer Rattler, Michael, any of the quarterbacks. Then Aiden's at quarterback 3, and I'm like, I at least wanted him to get a fair shot. But if you use a first round pick on a quarterback, you just gonna use a first round pick on a quarterback and then have that rookie quarterback in a year or two have him quarterback 3, like that's not gonna work out. So it sucks because AOC is a 4th round quarterback. That's the way we got to look at it. Also, he's a 4th round quarterback. But I'm hoping, I'll say this: I'm hoping Aiden, if he wins it, then you proved all your haters wrong. But still, go out there and win football games. Because the second you not winning football games, I want you right back where you were at, and that is on the bench.
Yeah,
because that's what it comes down to. With Gardner Minshew, with the rookie quarterback, with Aiden O'Connell, you're either winning football games or you're not. You could put up all the stats in the world and make yourself look pretty all you want. But if your win-loss record is not it, and I believe this team is going to depend on the quarterback if we win or lose football games, then that's what we got to figure out. And whether that's Gardner Minshew week 1, I'm like Farrell, I don't have a lot of confidence, but I kind of understand it because maybe that's their safety net right there.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, it still doesn't make sense because, I mean, you got Aiden. Aiden played 10 games last season, but it's like the quarterback. Hey, you know what? I'm just going to say this. F McDaniels, because we should have had CJ Stroud.
Yo, yeah.
We shouldn't even be put in this situation.
We would have never paid Jimmy G. You know what I mean? That's what made it so bad. It was the contract. It was like, what were you thinking? Like, the guy was never healthy, and you gave him all that guarantee money, and you found out the day of the signing that he had a foot issue. Like,
the signs were there already. You know, you still said, okay, we're doing this. Like, what are we doing, bro? Like,
nine interceptions in 9 straight games didn't help either.
Oh yeah.
Like, the thing is, this quarter, like, and I hear what Ralph was saying. We're not done at quarterback, but I in a sense, I feel bad for Aiden because I really believe Aiden's about to be the odd man out. He's going to be quarterback 3, and Minshew and this rookie quarterback, depending on where we draft. If we draft a second rounder, God forbid a third rounder, then yeah, Aiden has a fair shot. But I don't see the Raiders doing that. I see them trying to push for Jaden Daniels. I see them, if it's not Jaden, it's a second rounder. Like, it's a first or second rounder at quarterback. Either way, it's not going to be fair for Aiden, and he's going to be the odd man out. But at the end of the day, if we're winning football games, I'm sorry, Aiden, business is business. I want to see the Raiders win a Super Bowl. And if that's not you and that's somebody else, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, you know what? That's kind of what I was getting at. It's like people they seem like they were high on Aiden O'Connell. I was pretty high on him, at least be a second, QB2. At least. The fact that they brought Gardner Minshew in, it kind of is like, okay, we know that your next move is to try to bring in a franchise quarterback, but I thought in bringing a franchise quarterback, they would battle out with just Aiden O'Connell and then bring in a QB3 type of quarterback, a guy like a Hoyer, or not saying Hoyer himself, but a guy at that kind of caliber at QB3 to solidify that quarterback 3 position, not bring in a high-end QB2. It just seems like, what are we thinking? What do they really think about Aiden O'Connell? That's kind of what my that's what I couldn't wrap my head around. It's like, okay, maybe they're just not big on Aiden O'Connell. Maybe that's what it is. So I don't know, man. Stay tuned on that one. But shout out to Richard Teraoka with the $2 haymaker. How would you grade the offseason so far? You guys, real quick, what do you guys give everything that happened? Free agency, people being let go, people signing elsewhere, and so far, I mean, it's only been 3 days. So far, what would you give us so far? Go ahead, Farrell. You up first, man. What would you give us so far? And actually, on top of that, who would you? What would be your next move? For free agency, what would be your next move?
It's gonna be a homer answer, but you know what? I'm around Raider fans, so y'all gonna love it. I think I give him an A. You know what I mean? Because that Christian Wilkins signing, even though it was a no-brainer signing, it has such a big impact on this team because that's exactly what they needed. And a player like Wilkins was not supposed to be available. If it wasn't for, Dolphins having cap issues and, obviously they're trying to figure out their quarterback situation and giving him an extension, a guy like Wilkins wouldn't be available. I think Wilkins was the home run pick. We can argue about Minshew. I'm with you, Big Mike, as far as it does say that they're not 100% confident in AOC to give that type of money to a backup quarterback where you could have went a little bit cheaper. You could have went a little cheaper, whether that was Wilson, whether whoever, you know what I mean? Taylor, who I think signed with a team. I think he signed with the Jets. Someone a lot more cheaper, but I get you 100%. But I think overall they address two big spots on the team. You get a guy that's a good backup, can be a bridge quarterback, and obviously You got Christian Wilkins, D tackle. That impacts the entire defense, the D line. Man, we're thinking like top whatever defense next year. You know what I mean? We're thinking but I think it's an A in my opinion. And I think after this, I would say the Raiders need to look at O-line. I think trying to see if they can find O-line, maybe another corner. Stevie Nelson is available. He's 31 years old, but he's still got something left in the tank. You could give him a cheap deal, bring him in. There's not a lot of guys left. Xavier might be available. The corner from the Dolphins.
Xavier Howard.
Xavier Howard, my bad. But yeah, I think he might be available. And the Raiders can go that route. Because we do need to, that's the part of this defense where I'm kind of like linebacker. I think we're solid. Luke Masterson, solid. Obviously, surprise free agent pickup last year in Spillane, and then obviously Divine Diablo needs to be a little bit more consistent. But I'm not as like I'm not as low on the linebacking core as some people might be, because I hear some people like, oh, we should get Devin White.
No,
I don't know, man.
No,
Dude can't cover out. You know what I mean? I don't want to see Travis Kelce get 10 touchdowns against, against Devin White.
We don't want to see 5.
Yeah,
exactly. So I'm looking corner and O-line. Those are the two positions that I'm looking at if the Raiders can upgrade. That
reminds me of Tahir Whitehead. When he saw how bad that was years ago.
Oh my goodness,
he couldn't cover.
Exactly. I forgot about that guy. Man. Oh my goodness,
he couldn't cover to save his life. So. I mean,
what was the guy we got from the Dolphins that year? It was Raekwon McMillan.
Raekwon McMillan, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Raekwon, yeah.
That game against the Patriots. Oh they were
that was bad, bro.
That was McDaniels. Whoever, you know what I mean. They had a game plan, and it was to run against. And it was funny. They traded for him during the season, or they picked him up during free agent, which I thought was.
I think it was a pickup.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. Like y'all use and abuse them and then pick them up.
Right.
But it is what it is.
That's crazy, man. So Severe, quick grade. What do you expect to be the Raiders' next move in free agency?
I'll give us a B so far. In terms of what we need to do, I still want to see us get another corner. I don't know if Kendall Fuller is still out there.
Yeah, I think he is.
But he's a guy. I know he was kind of hurt with the Commanders last year, but he was like a bright spot on that team. Is another guy that was coming off injury, but if we take a chance on the White Tiger, the dude for a time was one of the best corners in the league, Tre'Davious White. So that's a guy I wouldn't mind bringing in, even if we drive, and even if they are the guys that aren't going to start, they'll be perfect mentors for a guy like a Jacorian Bennett. I'm cool on linebacker. I've been saying for a while that, and I believe in Spillane. I said last year when we picked him up, I thought he'd be good. If Diablo can stay healthy, I think he can be good. Curtis Bolton, I think he did an admirable job last year. Luke Masterson did an admirable job last year. We drafted Bernie, and then we still have Darian Butler, who was an ASU guy, who I think Antonio Pierce is going to definitely like because of their ties at ASU. So, I just think really, man, corner, I think that the offensive line right now, them prices is a little bit too rich for my blood. All the guys are either going to be young and expensive or old and, kind of on their last leg. So it's not like it's how much of efficacy will they still have. Might be a better to go, a mid-round guy or if you want to draft early in terms of offensive line. But I think corner is definitely a guy that definitely a position we should attack.
Yes,
oh, but we keep forgetting to give love to the guy, the latest Raider, the almighty Harrison Bryant.
That's right.
The guy's going
the legendary, all-time great
team,
Harrison Bryant. Welcome to the Raiders, man. Yeah, absolutely, man. Can't forget him, man. Backup tight end, definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Protect the Shield podcast. Chris in the building. Hey, thanks for coming in. A little late, it's cool. Real quick, bro, I'm throwing you into the fire, man. Give us your overall grades on so far these 3 days of free agency. Any parting words for Hunter Renfro, Josh Jacobs, anything of that, man? The whole situation at hand. Give us your take on it, man. The floor is yours for wherever, how long you want to speak, bro. Spit it.
Yeah, for sure, man. First, I want to say thank you for the invite, man, and salute to the panel, man. This is an all-star panel. I saw this. I'm like, wow, this is the four kings out here, man. So I appreciate y'all, boys. But nah, for real, I think if I had to give a grade, I would say like an A minus. I mean, because the Wilkins move was so necessary, and it seemed like it made so much sense. But in the past, we would have whiffed on it and missed out on it. The fact that we actually, I think all of us kind of wanted it and it happened. So, that was just fire there. I'm one of the few people that I'm not too happy about, the whole JJ thing. I know a lot of people thought he was making too much money. I'm willing to give an extra $2 million for the leadership he provided, for just that dog mentality he provided. To me, $2 million, I can give it. But so overall, I'll give an A. The whole Gardner Minshew thing, I believe us getting him shows we have to go get somebody in this draft. I don't want to trade up, but I got a feeling it may happen, man. Unfortunately. So we'll just kind of see how that plays out. But one thing about Gardner that I will say, he has that mentality that I think AP likes, that grittiness. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be a guy that's going to fight. But I think if he doesn't win the job, he's not going to take his ball and go home like some of our previous quarterbacks. Like, he's going to hold the clipboard. He's going to help mentor, the young pup, whoever it is that's at quarterback. And I think, that's great, So, but whoever is our first string quarterback, they're going to be in a dogfight because he ain't going to lay down. And that's just how it is. AOC is not going to lay down. So that quarterback room, if nothing else, is going to be competitive. And I respect that. So that's kind of where I'm at, just kind of what we've done so far. But I'm still a little worried about the offensive line. I know we'll address it in the draft, but, we need to definitely get better ASAP.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you made a good point, man. It's an iron sharpen iron type of situation in that quarterback room. That's what it seems to be.
Yeah.
Now, it's not the two guys we have in the building right now. Is it an ideal situation for us? No, I wouldn't say so. But if we do draft another guy, 3 guys going at it for that number 1 spot, that's an absolute iron sharpen iron type of situation. So I'm okay with it. Shout out to Latverian Savage with the $2 haymaker. Says no Renfro love. Go ahead and rewind, bro. We did it at the beginning. Plenty of Renfro love for you, man. Just go ahead and rewind from the beginning. We definitely gave him his love for sure, man. Oh, you got that strawberry lemonade from Wendy's, bro.
Hey, I'm on my fat boy stuff, man. I'm on my fat boy kick, man. Big Mike know what it is off site.
Yeah, man. I have to drop that shit, bro.
There, Mike. That's what I'm talking about.
Man.
That strawberry lemonade got Mike in the chokehold, man. He knew that off top.
Yo, bro.
That's that point right there.
Hey, man.
Bro, I saw it. I was like, oh, you got the Wendy's. All right.
Mike and Chris having a moment right now.
Hey,
Mike, I got the plug, man. Got that leg.
All right.
I'm gonna hit you up after the show, bro.
I got a win streak. Don't tell me, y'all. My fast is ending.
Oh man, don't do it, bro. Don't do it. Hey, Primos, we didn't hear from you, man. You final grade. So, well, not final grade. We got plenty of time for free agency to continue. Been 3 days. What's your grade so far, and what's your next move you want to see the Raiders make?
Before I get into that, shout out to Chris. That was actually a really fire comment about iron sharpens iron, because that just brought me back to Derek Carr's best year, and that was the year they drafted Connor Cook. So, I mean, who's to say that them drafting the quarterback in that time didn't light a fire under DC, and, what happened. But the grade I'm with Severe. I want to say B+. And that Wilkerson, Christian Wilkins signing, I didn't think they were going to pull it off, mainly because we're Raiders. We don't pull stuff off like that. But what I love is that they went after the biggest need that was at the top of our shopping list, which was defensive tackle. AP and Telesco went right at the defensive tackle position. It's like, okay, who can we get? Can we get Chris Jones? He signs with Kansas City. It's like, okay, next guy up, Christian Wilkins. And I think everyone in the Raider Nation was like, Christian Wilkins is your plan B if you can't get Chris Jones. And boom, they pulled it off. So that's why they get a B for me. The reason why I'm giving them a B plus right now is the quarterback position, as it's still up in the air, and I believe the next move needs to be a corner or an offensive line. Like you can either get, I believe the guy he played with Minnesota, Dalton Risner. He's 28, offensive guard, and from what Graf said, he's not asking for the bag. He just wants to be a starter. Yeah. So I mean, I'll go take a shot at him. And bring in a Kendall Fuller. Like Severe said, yes, he dealt with injuries, but when he is on the field and he is healthy, pair him with Jack Jones and Nate Hobbs.
Nasty.
You ain't gonna be passing on anybody on the Raider secondary. Like, trust me when I say that. And the way our defensive line, corner's not gonna. Because think about that, guys. This defensive line, corner's not gonna have to cover for 7-8 seconds like we're used to seeing in the past. Quarterbacks may have only like 3 to 4 seconds to pass the football. Which, of course, that's going to be coordinator's job to, do what they do, call short passes, intermediate, try not to get the quarterback to hold the ball too long. But if you can beef up that secondary room and allow the quarterback to hold on to the football longer than he needs to, this defense could really be something special. After this offseason is complete, draft, free agency's wrapped up, I really do believe they can be at an A+ in this offseason. But, of course, the games will speak for themselves.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I missed it earlier. So how do you guys feel about Jacorian Bennett? Have we given up? Have we shut the door on him?
No.
I haven't.
Amik is gone because we have a Jacorian Bennett. We still got Philip that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's on the coaching staff, and he's a young player. But just to go back to what we're talking about, the reason why I gave him an A is because Mike said, "What do you give him so far?" And I give them an A because of the moves they've done so far. We got the best free agent available in Christian Wilkins, a need, best player, everything, hit home run pick, obviously solid backup, but not even just that. The way Telesco's attacking free agency, even before free agency started, you see he's out here playing chess, because now that we've seen a couple of days of free agent or a few days of free agency, we're seeing all these guards get all this money. And the plan was, if you let Andre James hit free agency, that means you would slide Parham at center, and that means the Raiders would be looking for some guards. They're not doing that because they're like, you know what? We just hold on to Andre James, give him a little, give him some change. You know what I mean? Not what these guards are getting paid. And that right there in itself, so far, I feel like is an A. And that's the reason why. That's like the main reason. It's just the Raiders have a plan. You could tell you could tell behind they have a plan, and I don't want to say too much, man. I don't want to hog the mic too much, but we'll probably talk about it, man.
But you know what, bro? You make a good point, and that's one thing we didn't talk about was the Andre James deal. I mean, that's great foresight from our GM, seeing that, okay, if we let Andre James go, we're gonna have to move Parham to center because there's not going to be any centers available unless you bring a rookie center in.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to pay for 2 guards.
Yeah.
And this guard market is crazy right now. So it's great foresight from our GM for seeing that what's going on out in that market, man. That was an excellent move. It's probably one of the most underrated moves so far in this offseason. I would say so, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, what are the odds that we do trade up for a quarterback? We need a quarterback. Are we going to stay at 13? Are we moving up a little bit? Are we going to try to see what's going on with the Bears? I mean, Caleb Williams, I saw that, he put some weird tweet out there that, he kind of liked that Justin Fields should stay with the Bears or something like that. And there's some weird stuff going on with Caleb Williams. I don't know. I think he's not going to be picked number 1. I've said this for a while now. I think he's not going to be number 1. I think he's going to the Commanders. But it leaves a lot of the imagination going number 1 with the Bears. Do you see us moving up to number 1? Do you see that happening? Do you see us staying at 13 or moving up a little bit more? What are the odds that we move up and get the quarterback in the future, man? Let's start with Protect the Shield with that one.
I think it's very high. If I had to put a number on it, I'd say, and again, this is me saying I don't want it to happen at all. I've never wanted us to move up, but I think it's going to be about 75%. I know. And just because I really think AP wants to go get his guy. I think he wants to be able to go into this year knowing he has his guy. And one thing about AP that I like is he's okay with putting his neck on the line on players that he really believes in. You know, he already did it with Jack Jones. And I could see him going to Mark Davis or Tom Telesco, say, hey, this is the guy I want. If it don't work out, get rid of both of us. Because he already did that with Jack. I could see him doing it with old buddy. So again, I don't want to do that because I think we still have some more holes, especially on the offensive line. But I do think it's going to be high, unfortunately.
Okay. Primos, what you got, bro?
I got and salute to Sean and Van City because me, Van City, and Sean had a conversation about this, and this can really go either way. I can't even put a percentage on it because it's not even about us trading up. Think about the teams that are in front of us. That possibly want to trade up. Broncos, Vikings, Giants. There's we're talking about us, but guys, this is not in our ballpark at all. This is not in our ballpark. So I think AP and Telesco, they are gonna have to if they want to move up, they're gonna give up a lot. They are gonna give up a lot. And I know Raider Nation don't want to hear that, hey, we're gonna have to give up a lot. But I want to say if I had to put a number, I'm with Chris. I think 75% around that they're gonna trade up. But I wouldn't be shocked if they stayed at 13. I wouldn't be shocked.
Man, I'm shocked at the numbers you guys are giving, man. Severe, what you got, bro?
Shameless plug, but I put it at 50-50.
Here we go.
Shameless plug. Monday nights. But
shout out to the 50-50 podcast. Gotta give him love right there, bro.
Shout out, man. You guys all know what I think about Jane Daniels. He's been my number one quarterback for a while, and I told Big Mike in Cane Town months ago, JD5 was the guy. And now he's getting some love for the number one pick. I think that's a risky move because even if Protect the Shield was saying, AP went to management and said, hey, you know what? Get Jack Jones, and if he fails, you can get rid of both of us. But if he goes to management and they make this trade, that's Telesco's job too. Telesco ain't about to put his job on the line for nobody. He ain't, so he nah. That move cost us nothing. This would cost me my job. So
I got kids to feed.
Exactly. So
when Telesco gets fired, he's done. He's done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And so it's a situation where I kind of alluded to this before. If we're going to make a trade up, it has to be a draft day move because we cannot take the chance of a team jumping. It's like in the past, I think it was the 97 draft where we traded up to the number 2 pick. Yeah, we traded up to the number 2 pick because we wanted to take Orlando Pace. And then St. Louis jumped us to the number 1 pick and took Orlando Pace there. And then we had to settle for Darrell Russell. So if we give up the farm and we identify Jaden Daniels as our guy, and right now we don't know who the number 1 quarterback is, right? All we heard all last year was Bryce Young is the for sure number 1 pick. Bryce Young is the for sure number 1 pick. But if Frank Reich had his way, CJ Stroud would have been the number 1 pick.
Good point.
And the ownership stepped in. So just because we assume somebody's going to go number 1 doesn't mean they're going to go number 1. For months we were hearing Drake may overtake Caleb Williams. And now that we've gone through the evaluation process, people are saying, hey, Jaden Daniels could be that guy. So like I said, man, it can go either way. Penix is my number 2. I'd be perfectly happy with Penix in this draft as well. I think he's a guy that translates very well to the pros as well. So But I don't know if Telesco is willing to take that chance.
Yeah, I feel you.
But if he does, shout out to Raider Way, man. I'm buying everybody Wendy's strawberry lemonades, bro. You get a strawberry lemonade. You get a strawberry lemonade. He getting a all y'all strawberry. Hey,
yeah,
Raider
Big
Way,
Mike Raider
I'm
got a
sending
new
one to Raider
sponsor.
Way.
Hey, I need a sponsor, man. Wendy's, hit me up. Yo, hey Pharaoh, what you got, bro? Can't be 50-50 either.
Hey, man. If y'all don't know, man, check me out. 50-50, me and Severe, man. But look. To just keep it real, man. I think to that top 3, man, it's gonna be slim to none. I think it's like 4. Man, if I'm being optimistic, maybe 40%, 35%. We're talking about 13 to number 1, y'all.
Yeah,
cop out, Pharaoh. You had to
Hey, I'm just saying 13 to number. Now when you talk about that top 10, then it's 50-50. You know what I mean? We talking about that, from 5 to 8, now it's like 50-50, 60-40 Raiders. But when we talking about that number 1 pick, come on, let's be honest, it's gonna be tough. From 13, come on. I know we Raider fans, but we can't be Homer fans. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to keep it real at times. And I think that I hope if we can get to that number 1 pick, yes, be beautiful. Bobby Boucher.
Hey, bro, he's a game wrecker.
Yeah, man. But man, I think it's just I think within that top 10 is where I think realistically where the Raiders are going to trade up, because I think Mark Davis gave Telesco a green light to get the quarterback. That's the mandate right now, and it feels like they're like the whole right since the start of this offseason, since Telesco came here, everything just lining up. They're just making small moves towards pretty much making an attempt to trade up in that top 10. And they can get to that top 3, then, man, Raider Nation, we're going to have a lot to celebrate about.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean,
I got a question for y'all, though. What if Davante Adams is in that trade?
Oh,
I'm out.
I'm out too.
Hey, look. All right, if we're just looking at it Al Davis ruthless style, I think it would be a great trade. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you want to trade when his value is still high. Now, is it ruthless? Yes, it is. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, this is the last chance where you can really get some good value. And I think we already identify a team that will give up a first-round pick, a first-round pick that you can use in a trade-up or add talent to this team, young talent on a cheap deal. Because let's not forget that Davante Adams makes what? 25-30 mil next year. It's going to go up to 35 mil the year. So that contract for
cap space, man.
Exactly, for aging player. And last year he didn't look as good as he did the previous year. Now we could say it's probably a quarterback issue, but at the end of the day, like if the Raiders had someone that had cojones in the building, that would be a great trade, but it's not going to happen. Mark Davis is not going to let it happen. I don't see unless Davante Adams came to management and they pretty much was like, hey, look, I'm trying to get traded to play with my quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Then I can see that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I definitely agree. Sorry, guys. This is we're about an hour 30 into this thing, man. We're about to wrap this thing up, man. I want to go around the horn. You guys are amongst the best Raiders content creators out there, man. I'm so glad, I'm so blessed to have you guys here in one building, in one roof, basically, and talking this Raider stuff with you, man. It feels good to be back. Shout out to the 338 in the building who came in and showed support, man. Fire, man. I think this is a new high, man. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go around the horn. Raider Ed from Raiders Primos, man. Go ahead and plug your stuff, man. Let them know where they can find you, bro.
And just search up Raiders Primos on YouTube. You'll find us there. We are actually going to have a show tomorrow night, 6:30 Pacific time. Tune in. We're recapping the free agency. Just continue this conversation going. So if you guys want to jump in on that conversation, go subscribe to us. Go hit that like. Go hit that bell so you guys are missing anything. But yeah, follow us on Raiders Primos on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, or X as it's called now. Just search Raiders Primos. You'll find us.
Sounds good, man. Severe, man. Where can we find you, bro?
Y'all know what it is, man. You can find me at the Severe Raider everywhere. At the Severe Raider on YouTube, at the Severe Raider on Instagram, at the Severe Raider on X/Twitter, at the Severe Raider on Tinder for the ladies. Then we got me and Pharaoh got a show at me right away.
Hey, Raider Way is hilarious.
This was brought to you by Wendy's Strawberry Lemonade.
Hey, tell them that I sent you.
Hey, that's the sponsor.
Use that promo code Protect the Shield for a 10-piece nugget.
Exactly right.
Hey, if Wendy's is watching, man, hey, Big Mike would be he could be a sponsor, man.
Man, I'll put on the red pigtails and everything, bro.
Yeah, man. Every Monday night, me and my boy Pharaoh, we got a podcast. We do the 50-50 show, man. You can also catch me with Big Mike and with Sasquatch, aka Cane Town, because ain't nobody ever seen him. We go on the Swagger Boisterously. Cane Town, this part is a myth. People are not sure if he's a real person or not. It's the legend of Cane Town. Like, who's this guy? But you catch us and catch me with the Swagger Boisterously podcast as well, man.
All right. Hey, Pharaoh, where can we find you, bro?
Man, you can find me all over social media, Pharaoh NFL, PHAROAH NFL. As you can see it on the screen, y'all could just look me up anywhere on social media. But most importantly, YouTube. You can find me, Las Vegas Raiders with Pharaoh NFL. You can just type in Pharaoh NFL, you'll find me, man. And like Severe Raider said, man, we do a show live every Monday. Sometimes we do some pre-records, some interviews. Big Mike, I'm saying, we gonna get you on there, soon.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, we had Chris on there the other day, and then Raider Primos, we're gonna have you on there soon too as well, man. So look, man, check us out. We love talking Raider football. You can find me everywhere. And just make sure to subscribe to everybody that you see on the screen, man. It's so easy, man. Just subscribe. You a Raider fan, you gonna just subscribe to everybody that you see on the screen, man. You won't be disappointed, man. But I appreciate you for having me on, Big Mike.
Oh, man. Hey, anytime, bro. Anytime. Protect the Shield. Chris, bro, where can we find you, bro? Where can we get that promo code at?
Yeah, so I got you.
Bro, I'm writing it down right now. I'm trying to get me my lemonade.
Hey, I'm about to get a deal.
Well, let's get it, bro.
But real talk, man. So first, before I even start, I want to say again, man, I appreciate being on here, Big Mike, and just being up here with you guys, man. I respect every last one of you guys. I know Big Mike, Pharaoh, I've watched you guys even before I started, man. So just seeing you guys just continue to grow. Primos, I've watched your stuff. Severe, I've always highly respected you ever since I've seen you. So I'm honored and humbled to be able to be on the panel with y'all. But enough about y'all. Let me get my little swag.
Hell yeah, man.
So you can catch me on Protect the Shield podcast, basically on all platforms and social medias. So every Wednesday, I have a show with Spicy Raider Girl. We just started that up called Woods and Whiskey Wednesdays. So we do that. And then I have my show, Fan Talk Friday, on Fridays. And then I have a show with the Raider Syndicate with my brothers. That's my boy, the Raider Rundown, my boy Cheeto Linus, and the Ultimate Raider Fan. We call him Turf. So we just been working, man. All of us are pretty much new. I started back in April last year, and we're just grinding. We're just some brothers grinding. And I love being amongst other brothers that just, don't hate on each other, pick each other up, encourage each other. Like I said, every last one of you guys have helped inspire me. So I appreciate it, man. So I appreciate you guys, and check me out if you like my content.
Absolutely, man. And shout out to Richard Taraoka, Big Mike Raider Fun Show. But you know me, go Bucks. Good night, everyone. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, man, this is like my real life big bro right there, man. He's a Bucks fan. So I know there's some disrespect in the comments from giving to my bro, and I don't appreciate that, man. He's in here. He's here to support me. He's a Bucks fan. Show some respect, man. He shows respect to everybody here. So let's just keep it at that, man. I don't block anybody. I don't do none of that, but let's keep it respectful. But without further ado, throw that away, right?
I'm sorry, bro. Chris's comment got me weak, bro.
Protect the Shield. Yo, you get that deal, bro? Man, we celebrating, bro.
hey, Big Mike. Hey, we going to the moon, baby. We going to the moon.
There you go. There you go. One pigtail at a time, too, bro. Man, hey, guys. Hey, you guys know where you can find me, Big Mike Raider, IG, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. You can find me there. You guys already know what it is. Guys, thank you so much for popping in, man. This has been one of my favorite shows I've done since I've been starting doing this for about a year. It's been a little bit over a year. This is a great comeback show for me, man. And I appreciate you guys, each and every one of you guys for popping in. And we definitely got to do this again soon, man. Without that, man, without further ado, guys, we got 276 in the building. I hate to leave you guys hanging, but it's getting late over here, man. It's a school night. I got to get to work in the morning. So with that, guys, I'm about to call it a night. You guys have a good one. Keep your eye on free agency, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Hopefully some more news to provide, and I'll be here on the next one. And with that, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
This is one of them hits now. Heard back from Earth and just shot a few of my shits down. It's safe to say I'm totally pissed. Wow. My cloaking device is just malfunction. Guess it's time for a sit down. This is the problem I got with humans, mostly the common man. Constantly fucking with energy they don't understand. Always thinking they got the upper hand. The G-forces from my maneuvers can snap your spine like a rubber band. I shouldn't waste my time, they ain't half as nice. Put a Red Bull in your coffin so your ghost can have wings in the afterlife. Let's rock and roll like a belly dancer's rhinestone. It was my idea to shake the pineal gland like a pine cone. My thoughts create hurricanes, tornadoes, and cyclones. A punch for me is like an avalanche of granite and limestone. You live here, but now this is my home. I neuralize both your retinas. You wake up staring at the screen of your iPhone. Confused by the light plus the high tone. And now we connected from the microchip I placed next to your thigh bone. It's hard to understand cause you're mind blown, but I gotta cut communication. Your government just scramble they spy drones.
That voice speaking Sumerian.